As the Velma show draws to a close and with the season finale on the horizon, it's safe to say that the characters that we've been given are as fully fleshed out as they could possibly be. I did a video covering how the show ruined Fred, and I thought it was now the right time to address one of the characters that is most probably the most different to the original iteration, and that's Shaggy, aka Norville. So with that, let's take a look at why Norville doesn't live up to the character of Shaggy and how the show ruined him. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Norville is one of the main characters in the Velma show, and he's an individual that has been besotted with Velma for the entirety of the first season. I feel he started off as one of the only characters that actually had something about him, but over the course of the season as the episodes have gone on, this was something that soon faded away. He became an individual that was relatively two-dimensional and couldn't step away from the fact that Velma didn't want to be with him, and even though she'd been treating him terribly, he was like a lapdog and would just always keep running back to her, ruining the groundwork that they put in with the character over the first couple of episodes. Even then, when he got in a relationship with Gigi, he started to change his personality to be more of the person that she wanted him to be, showing that the character didn't have any roots ingrained within the show, and he was viewed as a character that could be interchanged in the way that he was written in order to serve the purpose of the episodes. He had no real distinguishing factor to the overall plot, other than being the relative of the person who worked on the Scooby project, and he could potentially be the son of the person who's been behind the killings. When we take a look at the original Shaggy Rogers, technically his name was Norville, so the new show clearly wanted to pay homage. But by calling him Norville, it seemed as though they also wanted the character to not be directly associated with the original one. The original Shaggy had so much character depth that leaned in on only a couple of main characteristics, such as his idiotic nature, his hippie-like behavior, his chilled-back nature, his want to always eat, and the most important one, the relationship that he had with his best friend and the face of the Mystery Inc., Scooby-Doo. He often provided the comic relief with Scooby-Doo in the show, and this would come from his cowardice, his somehow key contribution to working on the mysteries and also the solving of who was behind the mask. Shaggy was key to the show, and you could argue that he was the main character in the group alongside Scooby-Doo, something that he's definitely not in the new show. He just pops up occasionally and speaks about how he essentially wants to be with Velma and shows interest in her. The original Shaggy had a key, very specific relationship with each and every character in the Mystery Inc., and the difference between himself and everybody else provided the contrast that the show needed in order for the humor to be present. He acted as his own entity, but also as a bridge which allowed us to get the best out of Scooby-Doo and see exactly how they brought the best out of each other. Shaggy had an iconic outfit, an iconic look with the whiskers on his chin, and an iconic voice and dialect in the language that he would choose to use. This new character Norville has taken the outfit, and it feels as though the creators of the show felt as though that would be enough to show that this was their version of Shaggy. There are no characteristics or personality traits of the original character that run true with the core of this iteration. It would have been better if the creators had have just introduced a new character into the show and used him that way, because Norville is the furthest away from any of the characters in the original material, and it's so clear to see. Shaggy brought humor in the way that he was delivered, along with his iconic look, his relationships and his attitude, whereas it just feels like Norville, whilst being okay, he doesn't bring anything that makes you think that he's Shaggy, and tends to provide frustration due to the way that he just gets walked all over by everybody that he seems to spend time with. There wasn't a lot that the original Shaggy had going for him, only a few things as I mentioned, but what the show decided to lean in on, they made it a main focus and amplified it for comic relief, and it worked perfectly, something that Norville just doesn't really have. Another thing that the Velma show has done in order to pay homage to the original Shaggy was by making Norville's father look very much like the Shaggy that we know and remember. It's a shame because such an iconic character was lost with the creation of the Velma show, and whilst it didn't need to be exactly like how we remembered him, some kind of personality traits or behaviors would have been refreshing to see and made the character so much better, because this Norville isn't the Shaggy that we know or remember. It's just a guy in a green t-shirt and brown trousers. So, there you have it, how the Velma show ruined Shaggy. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think of Norville? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.